Yes. Okay, so we're looking at these here, and we did one of these yesterday at the start, so we're back at the start. I want to look at a few of these, kind of y equals x equals. If you already got them done, awesome. Now, when we look at these here, y is greater than or equal to, x is greater than or equal to, when we have these graphs and these equations, if it is y by itself greater than, less than, some type of sign and a number, we're talking about a graph that is horizontal. It is flat. Y equals is flat. Now, if we have x equals a number or an inequality sign, we're talking about a graph that goes straight up and down. X equals or an inequality, x is greater than, x is less than. We're talking about a line going straight up and down. So when we look at this one here, y is greater than or equal to negative 3. So that means we're going to have a horizontal line at negative 3. So that means we can go to the point negative 3. Yeah. And then we shade it above, yes? And I think that's the one we ended on yesterday. Because we didn't do y is greater than 1.
That's that one.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do it, we did the one underneath it.
Yeah. Because this, I want to look at this one here. Because I wanted to do a few more of these here. They will be on the homework, so I wanted to at least have gone over it with y'all. And then we'll pick up where we left off. Because I think you might have done this one. Because we didn't cover it in class, but you might have done it on your own. Now, when we look at x is less than or equal to negative 4, well, this here we know is going to be a line going straight up and down. Because x equals is going to be a line straight up and down. It's going to be a vertical line. Now, we find where x is equal to negative 4. Well, that would be negative 4 on the x-axis. And it ends up being a line going straight up and down. Because when it's x equals or an x and an inequality sign, it's straight up and down. Now, again, to check to see which side we shade, we can just check a point, and I just pick the point 0, 0, because, again, it's an easy point to check. What we want to just see is 0 less than or equal to negative 4. And is 0 less than or equal to negative 4? No. So it's this side over here. So whenever we just have y by itself or y is in a number, it's either gonna be going horizontal. If it's x in a number, it's vertical, going straight up and down. So any other questions on these kind of one variable? Do you like these here? Because it's straight up and down, straight line. Now we did these here yesterday. This is where we stopped. Now, whenever we graph the equation of a line, we need how many points? 2, because if I have 2 points, I can find the graph of a line. Now, this here, negative x plus 2y is greater than 2, is in standard form. This is the standard form for the equation of a line. So we can't have, and we don't have the slope or y-intercept. Well, technically, we do have a slope and y-intercept, but we can't find them by just looking at the equation. It's not in the form y equals mx plus b that we were using yesterday, where we have our slope and y-intercept. Because if it's in the form y equals mx plus b, or using our inequality signs, it's a little bit easier to find the slope and y-intercept by looking at it. But we still need to graph the equation of this line by using 2 points. Now, the points that we're going to use are actually the intercepts. We're going to have the x-intercept and y-intercept. And we're going to use the x-intercept where it crosses the x-axis and the y-intercept where it crosses the y-axis to find these values. And what's interesting is the x-axis, where it crosses the x-axis, the value of y is 0. And at the y-intercept, the value of x is 0. And we can use this here to find 2 points, because if we have 2 points, we can graph the line. So that's what we're going to do to find our 2 points. Draw a line to kind of split this down the middle. And that's all we're going to do is we're going to plug in 0 for x to find the y-intercept, and we're going to plug 0 in for y to find the x-intercept. So finding the x-intercept, well, I can take the equation, negative x plus 2y equals 2. Now, you might be wondering why we're setting it equal to, because we're just finding the points. We're finding this point on the graph, because this equation will cross through that point. So we're not worried about the inequality yet. Inequality is going to help us with graphing. It's not going to help us so much with finding the points on the line. Questions on this here? So when we look at this here, I'm plugging 0 in for y. So we're going to have negative x plus 2 times 0 is equal to 2. Well, 2 times 0 is what? 0. Well, 2 times 0 is just 0. Negative x plus 0 is just negative x. Because 0 doesn't add anything, we can almost just throw it away. Now, what do we need to do next? Well, to make x positive, we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. A negative and a negative make a negative 2 divided by negative 1. Negative divided by negative is a positive. And what is 2 divided by 1? So the value of the x when y is 0 is 2. So our x-intercept is at the point 2, 0. Are there any questions on this here? Are we good with this here so far? Yes? No? Confused? So far we do have 1 point, which is at 2, 0. How many points do we need? 2. So we just need 1 more. We have 1, we just need to find the other. So we're going to use this equation again, but this time we're going to plug 0 in for x and solve for the value of y. So we'll have negative 0 plus 2y is equal to 2. Well, negative 0 plus 2y is just what? 2y. Because 0 doesn't add anything and 0 doesn't subtract anything. Okay. What do we need to do next? We would divide both sides by 2. We're doing this because 2y divided by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. They will simplify out, leaving us with just y. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the value of y when x is 0 is 1. So we have our other point. 1, 0, 1. 0 on the x, so we go up 1 on the y. Are there any questions on how we found our 2 points so that we can graph this line? Any questions on any of this here? Okay. Now we can draw our line. Okay. And we draw our line going through these 2 points here. But should this line be solid or shaded or dashed? Solid or dashed? Because so it's not equal to, it's just greater than, yes? So since it's not equal to, we have a dashed line. Because the only time the line is solid is if it is equal to, so greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Then it would be a solid line. But because it's just less than, it will be dashed. Now, erase that there. So we have our line. We got 2 points to graph the line. We graphed it and we knew that it was dashed because it is greater than, it's not equal to it. So what are we missing? Because there's one last thing we need to do. Well, we need to figure out which side we're going to shade, yes? And how can I figure out which side we're going to shade? We need to check a point. So what would be a good point to check? 0, 0. It works out even better with these here. Because if I take the equation negative x plus 2y is greater than 2, because again, we're using the inequality sign because we're trying to check which side to shade. We're going to plug 0 in for x and y. So negative 0 plus 2 times 0 is greater than 2. Well, negative 0 is just, well, 0, yes? Plus 2 times 0 is 0 plus 0 is 0. Now is 0 greater than 2? No. So this here is not. So since it's false, we do not shade the side with 0, we shade the other side. This does not look right. I was looking at that and it didn't make sense. Partly because of this right here. That 2, is it supposed to be negative? No. So that 2 should be positive, which would have made us have a because it's only going to change the sign. It's going to say that x is negative 2, not positive 2. Which means our graph, and I'll fix this here, should be here and here going up. Now the checking the point still works because 0 is not above the line, it's below it. So that still holds true. So sorry about that. I just realized that as I was looking at the graph, it needed to go the other direction. Which I noticed that sooner. Any questions on this here besides that one goof? Okay. Well, let's look at another one here. Okay. Let's look at this one here. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to get 2 points. Now, we're going to use the x-intercept and y-intercept. So we're going to use 0, comma, and a value. We're going to plug 0 in for x and find the y. And then plug 0 in for y to find the x. And doing this here will give us 2 points. So we find one by plugging 0 in for x. We find another by plugging 0 in for y. And it's a little bit easier to work with because 0 times anything is 0. So if we do this here, so if I plug 0 in for x, we'd have 0 plus y is equal to 2. And again, we switched it to equals because we're trying to find the point. We're not so much worried about the greater than or less than because we're trying to find exactly what this point would be. Now, what is 0 plus y? So one of our points is 0, 2. And that's it for this first half of it. Now for the other part, we're going to take the x plus y is greater than 2, and this time we'll plug 0 in for. Well, we did it for x, we'll plug it in for y this time. So we're doing the other one. Now x plus 0 is, well, any questions on how we got these 2 points? You good with this here? Okay. Now we need to graph the line. And the line, will it be solid or dashed? Dashed because it's not equal to. Now we can draw it by doing a dashed line. Or we can draw a solid line and erase the dashes. Or you can use the, well, I have the smartboard, so I can draw a dashed line like that. So you can either dash it by picking the pencil up and doing that, or drawing a solid line and erasing points on it to make it dashed. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to figure out which side we're going to shade. For the side with the zeros. So let's see. So if I take the equation, x plus y is less than 2, and I'm assuming we're picking 0, 0 again, yes? So, well, 0 plus 0 is less than 2. Well, that 0 is less than 2. Is that true? Yes, 0 is always less than 2. So we shade the side with the point 0, 0. That should be this side here. And that's all we have to do for this here. Questions on this here? So we shade the side with 0, 0. Yes. Because if the statement is true, we shade the side with it. All right, we're going to get ready and let's look at this next one here. I find the LCM, or factor both of those first. So simplify or factor them if you can. So looking at this here to graph it, we need 2 points. So the 2 points I'm going to find are the intercepts when x is 0 and when y is 0. And we're going to use that to find our line. Now using the equation x plus y, and we'll set it equal to -4. Well, the first one I'll do is I'll find the value of y. So we're going to plug in 0 for x. So if I plug 0 in for x, so we have 0 plus y is equal to -4. Well, that's just saying that y is equal to negative 4. So our first point for this here will be 0, negative 4. Because, right, now since it is equal to, we will have a solid line. Right, so we can check 0, 0. So that would get us what? 0 plus 0 is less than or equal to negative 4. Yes? 0 plus 0 is what? Is 0 less than or equal to negative 4? No. So this is false. So we shade the side that doesn't have it, or we shade away from 0, 0. Okay, so let's look at this one here. Now again, like always, we need 2 points. We're going to use 0, comma, and comma 0. So we're going to use the two intercepts where x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 to solve this here. Now, the first equation we're going to use, we're going to take this equation and plug 0 in for x, which would get us 0 minus 2y is less than 0. Right, yes, thank you. So we just have negative 2y is equal to 0. So what can we do from here? So y would equal 0. Yep. So would that give us 2 points? No, it only is going to give us 1. So, now it still has a solution. We just can't use this to find the other point. We have to manipulate the equation. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get it into y equals mx plus b form. Because if it goes through the origin, we're going to have to use this linear equation. We have to get it into a linear equation. Well, it's in a linear equation. We have to get it into slope-intercept form. Well, to do that, we need to get x and y separated. So what we'll do is we'll add 2y to both sides. This 2y plus 2y is 0. So that'll tell us x is less than 2y. Yeah, we can divide both sides by, not x, but 2. Because what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to get y by itself. So y would be 1, and x is we would have, well, we'd have x over 2, x divided by 2. Now this here isn't in our slope-intercept form, so really it is 1/2 x is less than y. Mm-hmm. It would go up 1 and over 2.
Right. If it's 1/2 x is less than y, wouldn't that go down though?
Well, the less than is just telling us kind of which way to shade. Since the slope is still what? Slope is positive or negative? Positive, we're still going up. Because the slope is positive, we would go up 1 and over 2 to the right. If it was negative, then it would be going down 1 and right 2. The inequality sign is really telling us which side of the line we need to shade. That's all right. We'll look at this here in a minute. Now, okay. I'm going to move our new equation up to the top so that we can look at the whole graph. So this one here, we ran into some trouble with it. When we had 1/2 x is less than y. Now, the reason we had to change it was because the intercept was at 0, 0. The x and y intercept were the same. And then, since they're the same, we did not have 2 points. We need 2 points to be able to graph this. So we turned it into y equals mx plus b and got this here. Now, would the line be solid or dashed?
Solid.
And it's solid because it is equal to, yes? It would be dashed because it is greater than or less than. Now, can we use the point 0, 0 for this?
Yeah. Oh no, you can't.
We can't use 0, 0 because the line goes through the point 0, 0, doesn't it?
So does that mean X shader or do you shade all of it?
We just need to choose it.
We have to choose a point other than 0, 0. Anytime the line goes through the point 0, 0 or through a point, we can't use it as a testing point. We have to pick a different point. What point do y'all want to use? Because we have a lot of other points. 1, 1. And it doesn't go through the point 1, 1. And so to test it, we're just going to plug 1 and 1 in. So what is 1/2 times 1? Because 1/2 times 1 would still be a half. Because anything times 1 is just whatever we multiplied by 1. Now, is 1/2 less than 1? And since that's true, we shade the side that contains the point 1, 1. And that is it here. Questions on this one here? Thank you. All right, so that's it for the note sheet. All right. And we are done.